Hi there! This intro sequence is the result of a tutorial I recently watched, and it relates to this tutorial by way of the water, a noise texture. Be sure to watch the end of this video to see how things look when they go wonky. In the first video, I introduced the noise texture and set up this node group. At the end of this video, I will add another input to this node group, if I remember. So, in seeing what you could do here, there's going to be some times where you're going to want to see a stark difference in the texture, as in where the black begins and ends and the yellow ends and begins. So, the one I'm going to add now is called the converter math. Okay, but I'm going to change this to, I'm going to have to bring this down. I'm going to change this to greater than. And what that will do is anytime it's greater than 0.5, it goes to this setting down here. So if I bring it, if I bring it down to like 0.1 or something, let's just type that in, 0.1, darn it, 0.1, it's all black because there's hardly any of it that can be yellow. So the more I bring it up here, the more yellow will show. And as I go, there will be less black. So you can tweak this value to get a stark difference, but control how much yellow and black is on your dealie, on your object. So if I increase this guy, you'll see that the spots, there's a lot more spots. But if I want to increase the yellow, again, just increase this value. So this greater than value can be used to visualize really what the texture is doing, especially if you're working with some like a complex texture. See, if I bring the scale or the detail back to 1, you'll see how smooth it changed that to. So if I change the detail back to, say, 10, it makes it more jaggy. So that is an interesting effect. You can also do that. Greater than is pretty neat for, you know, just testing, like I said. But the one that I really like using is the color ramp, and that is, we add converter color ramp, and I bring the factor in there and bring that factor into there, and this is essentially acting as though nothing is between here, the way it is now, because these color flags are so far apart. And it's basically mapping 0 to 0 and 1 to 1. Now if I bring that mapping in, I'm going to put him right at 0.501. And you can see that I've got a gradual effect of the yellow. The closer these flags are, the less gradual the transition is. So if I grab this guy and bring him over here, you can see that there still is a gradual transition between the yellow and the black, but it's getting less and less. So if I bring this guy up to right at 5, actually I'll type this in, 0.5, that is effectively the same thing as that greater than math node, this right here. So if I change, and then if I change this so that the black is on the other side of the white, it reverses the roles. See that? Nifty, right? Basically now I'm, with it backwards like this, I'm basically mapping 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. And by 0 and 1, I'm talking about the output value. So with the color ramp node, what is more interesting, and I kind of wish I would have set up a few of these before I got started, but you can add as many of these color flags as you want. And you can see here This is not quite white. Let's bring this one up to white. And this one, like that. But the closer they are, the more stark the difference is, like I said. So you get them real close. Oopsie. You get those really close and you end up having just lines, which is a nice effect. You want to increase the amount, just move all three of those flags up. See there? So anyway, the color ramp node is more powerful than the greater than node, but you can make the color ramp act like a greater than node. And as I promised, I'm going to add one more node to this node group here. So I'm going to hit tab and edit it, and I want this displacement over here. Boosh. So I'm going to tab out of the edit mode, and now I can get rid of this. Okay, yellow, and I can bring the output into displacement now. And that pattern that I made with this mess right here is now in bumps instead of the colors, which is pretty neat. You add a couple more flags and you can make this texture really complex. Let's grab this. Let's do one more right here. We'll do a white on this one. Whoop! All the way up there. And a white on this one. Whoop! And when I make this black, it sinks them in deeper. So there you have almost like a spray wall texture. If I forgot, it's called a knockdown texture. So if you're going to make your walls an interesting knockdown texture, you could do it with this texture the way it is. I think that was all I was going to say for this video. Thank you for watching.